Just wanted to do this quick little Transformer Finance video. It's an item that I've been watching in the market and its ups and downs due to some recent news that has developed. First, I just want to give a little update on HasLab Unicron, what's been happening with him in the price movements. Some people that I know recently decided to sell theirs, and they did a starting bid of $1. And what I love about listings that have a starting bid of $1 is whatever they end at is a very honest value of whatever the product is. Because sometimes we see like a buy it now for $1,800 and it sells for that, but we never really got to see what it truly was worth because someone just bit the bullet and paid what the person was asking. When you have those $1 starting bids and then they kind of build their way up to a number, it really tells me a lot more. And looking at the early month of May, we're now in the month of May, and looking at already the Unicrons of HasLab that have sold just within those few days of the month of May, we're seeing a low of about 1,400, and then we're seeing highs of about 1,700, 1,800, and a lot of those are multiple bids from like literally low starting prices of $1 to even $100. So that gives a real honest value, like I said. And keep in mind, like, you know, only a couple months ago, you know, Big Bad Toy Store had their stock of them, and I think they were 1,500 they were asking. No, I think it was 1,400 they were asking, and that pre-order sold out. But keep in mind, people, this value that we're discussing right now will not hold in the long run. The second Hasbro puts something else out that people feel is a modest replacement in a lot of ways, what's going to happen to this HasLab Unicron is it's going to really have a small demographic of people that are willing to own it and pay that crazy number, and everyone else will just be satisfied with a replacement of something else. So it might, the way I feel, it's going to plateau. It's going to hit like that $1,500 mark, and it's just going to stay there forever. That's what's going to happen. Then you're just going to have those guys that are on eBay holding theirs with a buy it now forever at 1,500, 200, and that's 2,000, and that's what it'll stay at. But its actual market value, probably just a prediction in the future, will be in that $1,000 to $1,500 range. I'd be really curious to see in 5 years if someone puts one up for sale with a starting bid of $1. And I know I will revisit this conversation in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. But I'm really curious to see what its honest value will be. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, and this is an item that has been affected due to recent news. I've been monitoring the price movement of the Transformers Titans Returns Perceptor for a while. And it was a curious one because it was a character that really has not had a proper updated figure in a while. He appeared in a lot of different media, even appeared in Transformers Cyberverse and got a pretty good focus on. And a lot of people were picking up this version of this figure to kind of be their Cyberverse version because there just was nothing. So this Perceptor figure specifically, last month, and months even before that month, was going for pretty crazy numbers. Pretty crazy numbers. And it was just getting to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to probably talk about this at some point because of how much is going on just in the price movement. And considering the fact that this thing had a original MSRP of, I believe, 18 USD, and now it was, well, not now, but as a couple months ago, a mint on card one was selling for about $80 easily. So getting 4 times its value, and loose complete ones were going for like $45 or $35. There clearly was a demand for this version because there just was nothing else out. And again, he's one of those classic mid-wave to late-wave kind of characters that probably distribution wasn't great depending on your area. So that's how it was for quite a bit. All of a sudden, the buck stopped when the news was announced that we're going to be getting in the future a Studio Series 86 Perceptor. And when that news broke, right away, people that were willing to pay $35 to $40 loose complete for Perceptors or buying them for $80 carded, all of a sudden, no one's buying them. All of a sudden, everything just stopped. And I'm very curious to see what's going to happen when we finally see the images of that Perceptor, because in a lot of ways, I mean, I look at the Studio Series 86 Blur, and I feel that one, when it came out, I was like, I think some people are still going to lean on that Titans Return one, because that 86 one, while it's good, it's not great. I still think it could have been better. But I think just the engineering wasn't there, or the budget to really like fill the gaps in a lot of ways. But so we're going to see what's going to happen. Supposedly this Perceptor is going to be a Voyager scale. So it should be interesting to see how it affects the market. But as it stands right now, I mean, if you have this Perceptor and you don't want it, maybe throw it up there, see what happens, because there is probably potentially something better coming down the pipes from Studio Series 86. And if it has the right budget and the right price point and the right market, it could totally just ruin the market for this Titans Return one for sure. And I mean, I've seen that time and time again, over and over and over. It's happened with so many of the old classics figures that were the version of that character for the longest time, and then just totally replaced. I saw it with the Prowls and the Sunstreakers. I saw it with the Sideswipes and the Blue Streaks, and all of those characters where there was a standard version and everyone was going out of their way to get it. I mean, I can't even talk about like stuff like white Ultra Magnuses and what's going to be White Optimus Primes and Ultra Magnuses and Skywarp 2-packs from Target that were going for like $100 to $200 just because they wanted to complete their Seeker jets, or they wanted to build a City Commander third-party Ultra Magnus or something. And today that market is just destroyed because we have better Ultra Magnus toys today and we have better Seeker toys today. So it's kind of the same thing that's going to be going on here. So keep that in mind. Again, if it's a character that you have the figure and it wasn't doing much for you and it's in your collection, now might be a chance to make some money and get rid of it, and then you might get a better version down the line. Or if you're someone that's already opened up the third party, there is a few third party stuff that's out there too, but that's a whole other conversation. Either way, just something to make a note of. And again, that Unicron, so far, it seems to be holding the value. There still seems to be sales, but we'll see what happens in the near future with that. I know, you know what? It's something where, and I said it in my streams, like, it's a good figure. It's a good figure, and I find that the upgrade kit by Mikey and Louie really help by having those two separate modes too for display purposes, which adds an extra, I guess, incentive for purchase for people from a look standpoint. But at the end of the day, I personally feel that it's an item that if you're spending more than $600, I don't know. I really feel that money could be spent better off elsewhere in the Transformer world. I mean, there's a lot of vintage G1 Japan product that holds its value pretty well, and it doesn't cost $1,700 or $1,500 or $1,200. And they're mint in box, they're minty, they're gorgeous, and I feel that they're the better way to go. Anyways, let me know what you think about this. Again, it's just a small little Transformer finance update. It's just something that was on my mind, and then the recent news with Perceptor mixed with also just the beginning of the month with Unicron kind of spurned this to happen. So let me know what you think about these guys.